point is, I would rather watch a good, solid drama that grabs me and moves me than a Marvel film any day of the week.
100%.
I think Thunderbolts, to me, is a big claim, but I would say is better than Endgame because it gave me more.
Yeah.
After Endgame finished, I was like, yeah, that was wicked. I was buzzing, but I didn't think about it again. There's nothing to think about. Everyone came out and did a fight and won. All the CGI people beat the other CGI people.
This has stayed with me though, man. The fact that when the dark version of Bob is saying no one cares about you, and he's trapped all of the other people and they're fighting to get to him. And that bit where they all hold him, man, that's the bit where I broke down.
Yeah, same.
Welcome to another spoiler review episode.
Welcome back to another spoiler review. This week we discussed the new Marvel film, Thunderbolts, and we both agree this is more than just Marvel. We hope you enjoy our conversation about this new release. Hi guys. Hi Drew.
Hey dude.
It's just Kevin, me and Drew today, as we have literally just seen Thunderbolts. But before we get into it, I just want to caveat this by saying, if you love Marvel, you'll enjoy this. If you hate Marvel, you'll enjoy this. Because just to kick it off before we go into detail and stuff, is like, as everyone says, it's boring that everyone's lost the joy of Marvel these days because it's just the same old crap and watered down. But I feel it's almost insulting to call this film a Marvel film because I think it's better than a Marvel film. I think they got real actors and it's really dramatic, and it just happens to be Marvel characters doing this dramatic stuff.
Mate, I 100% agree. I haven't seen Black Widow. But for me, I felt like I didn't have to appreciate this.
Black Widow's decent, to be fair, but it's one of those films that it's fun and decent, but no big deal.
Well, this is what people have said, that not to put any of the characters down in it, but people were just like, it's a bit vanilla. It's a bit, yeah, it's okay. But for me, this, when I left the cinema, and since till this day, I have not stopped thinking about that film.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I think Black Widow is important if you really want to know the backstory of people, but to be fair, the film does enough exposition that you get the point very early on anyway. Yeah. But it does introduce properly David Harbour's Alexei, the dad, and it does introduce Florence Pugh's Yelena.
I wouldn't mind watching it. The irony is, someone was saying the other day when they were reviewing Thunderbolts, they said one of the best things about it is for anyone, like, say you haven't watched any of the Marvels, like you were saying, you could step right in and just enjoy Thunderbolts, and it makes you want to go back. Like, who's Bucky? I'm going to go watch The Winter Soldier. Who's Yelena? I'm going to watch, Black Widow. So it makes you want to go and revisit those other ones.
Even if you've got Disney, watch Hawkeye. The Hawkeye series, because that's got Yelena in there as well.
Yeah.
And that, I really enjoyed that series. Yeah. I thought it was good.
What's the one with the guy that took over from Captain America, Red Arrow, and Bucky, their TV series?
No, that's Captain America and Bucky, isn't it?
That's is that what it is?
Winter Soldier or something like that, yeah.
Well, their TV series, I couldn't remember which one that was, but...
What's it called again? I've not watched it, but after watching Thunderbolts, I do. It's called The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
That's it, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Yeah.
So I've not seen that, and obviously the Falcon is now Captain America.
Yeah.
But there's so many Captain Americas. There's a Captain America in this one.
What is cool though, I love how they do a little wink wink moment in this Marvel one connected to Brave New World, where she talks about your president went red for a while. It's like there's a cool little moment that links them.
Well, on that, the point on Thunderbolts, they've changed the script so many times of this film coming out. There's quite a lot
Oh,
of stuff that the actors are talking about on the red carpet and in interviews that this was meant to happen, and they don't know what was in the final edit until they just saw it.
right.
Because what's his name? This is going to be tricky because there's a lot of people's names in this film.
Yeah,
A
and they're
lot of
new
really
to
great
us, to be
actors.
fair. So that's why we're.
But Wyatt Russell, who plays John Walker, who's the guy that looks like budget Captain America,
Oh yeah, he's awesome, man.
who's
He's great.
Kurt Russell's son, as I'm
Yeah,
sure we all know.
yeah.
He's a great actor, but he's a bit of an arsehole in the film,
Yeah.
and he was meant to be even worse. He was meant to be an extreme bad. He was meant to turn into like a bad guy, basically.
Okay.
But because they'd done the Red Hulk, they thought it might be treading over, even though it was different, treading
Yeah.
over similar paths. And Taskmaster, the girl that gets killed at the very beginning.
Yeah.
She was meant to be playing a joke role. That she survives that incident, and she doesn't realize the Thunderbolts have come together. And periodically throughout the film, she would just pop in to try and kill Wyatt Russell every now and again.
Oh, brilliant! Not
Because
knowing they're all a gang now and they've got together.
Yeah, because she's still been tasked with killing it. She hasn't got the news that don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So
Didn't you get the memo? Like,
Yeah.
we're not killing each other now. Yeah.
I was going to go another spoiler there, but we'll bear down the spoilers till later on in the episode.
Just to let people get in slowly, like, put your foot in the water and gradually.
Unfortunately, the big spoiler's out because obviously the film title has changed from Thunderbolts to the New Avengers, but not many people know what that means.
I saw that. Is that a thing now? Is that literally across posters now? I know that they were revealing it on certain things. Like,
yep.
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
And so, just for the audience, the sort of synopsis for this is, well, it's pretty limited. Is that after finding themselves ensnared in a death trap, an unconventional team of anti-heroes must embark on a dangerous mission that will force them to confront the darkest corners of their past. And
I mean, that is just such a cool synopsis, though.
There's some big threat out there, and you are gonna help me stop it.
Wait, us?
Yeah, you. Why, you got someplace to be? I love that guy.
So none of us comply? So what, do we all just punch and shoot?
I can't think of a worse group of people trying to work together.
John, stop! Who are you?
Everyone here has done bad things. You can't escape the past. It's like your mind is somewhere else.
but let's start at the beginning then. The opening scene with Florence Pugh. I think, again, there's going to be stuff that we'll talk about today that it's been so public because this film, they've done such an amazing, so good at marketing this film. The marketing's been very good. It's the only thing that's kept me entertained enough to go, go on, and I will go watch it because I wasn't that excited.
Yeah.
Until closer to the time, then but that opening scene, as we all know now, is Florence Pugh loves heights.
Yeah. Can you
and
imagine?
she didn't tell her family when she was doing it because she didn't want to get bothered by them or them
She
freaking
probably didn't
out.
tell her agent as well, in case you're like.
And she says she's been inspired by Tom Cruise.
I bet.
And she jumped off the second highest building, I think, in the world. I'm not sure, but second highest building somewhere. And and to be honest, it's not even that big of a thing in the film. It's over in a second.
Yeah.
They could have milked that longer, I think.
Yeah, 100%. Or I thought if they had a camera on her, so you see the full fall, because at one point when it almost like pans away into a wide, and you just see a body falling, and you think that could be anyone.
Yeah.
If they did do, just to jump quickly into the kind of Tom Cruise thing, when they did Fallout, Tom Cruise had a full-on kind of camera part attached to him. So when he's running and he jumps out of the plane, it follows him fully on a body cam, so that you see him do the whole stunt in the air, and it's following him the whole time, almost like in real time. But like the fact that they just pan away into a wide, and she's done this incredible stunt, it almost dilutes it a little bit. Because like, that could be anyone.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the social media thing, I
You
think a
might
lot of
not know.
people would think that's just a stunt person. But it's like, no, hang on. She had the kahunas to jump off,
Well, it says here, it's like she Florence Pugh loves heights, and she wanted to be the one that jumped off the Merdeka 18 building in the opening sequence, and she incessantly emailed Marvel Studios Kevin Feige about not using a stunt double. She says, as we got closer and closer to shooting, they said they don't think it's going to happen because it's a crazy insurance ordeal. And obviously, we're not going to throw Florence Pugh off the second tallest building in the world. But she said, I was like, what the fuck? Of course we are. We have to do that. I was being a sassy Karen, emailing Kevin saying it's going to do wonders for the press tour. We have to do this. We're going to have 3 women break 3 different Guinness World Records, and we'll do this and this. And I had to keep on pushing. And they were like, okay, if you want to fall off the second tallest building in the world, we'll figure it out for you. So they did it just from her wanting to do it. And I think that and again, when she arrives in that lab that she blows up from falling off.
Did she fly then? She did the parachute bit as well.
I doubt that. I'm sure it was just. I doubt she flew into the building. I'm sure she just flew off and did a parachute,
Right.
and then they shot the extra sequence. But it does say they blew up actual charge explosions set off on the floor of a building. There was no CGI in that shot.
That was awesome though, man, because it was like, instead of save the cat, it was save the guinea pig, right? It was an amazing little moment where you care about the guinea pig, but I thought that was an interesting like kind of symbolism, because they're guinea pigs for the mastermind lady, because she's just testing them all out. They're all
caught in the maze as well.
Yeah, literally. There's a maze that the little guinea pig's in. They're in a labyrinth of kind of conspiracies and all these things going on, and she's using them all. And Bob is a guinea pig. Like, there's a lot of symbolism. It's really, really cool.
Sorry to interrupt the show. Just a reminder to say we love and appreciate you all for listening to the podcast, whether it's on Spotify, Apple, or Amazon. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, follow, as this really helps us continue to progress and improve the content, and keeps us making these fun episodes for you guys. Oh, we're also on these things called Instagram and TikTok. You can follow us there too, as we share short, funny reels on the reg that you can share with friends if you like. Now, back to the mayhem.
And I think as well, like, no, I don't think anyone would disagree with me in the fact that Florence Pugh is probably one of the greatest actors of her age range.
Mate, she's got range.
Yeah, she's got depth, and
Yeah.
I think instantly, as soon as this film started, I was hooked before she even flew herself off the building, which happens about 30 seconds in. Because that first 30 seconds, it's her contemplating life and not wanting to be part of life anymore. And you think she's going to, obviously we know she's not going to, but the perception is she's going to throw herself off a building.
Yeah,
and
it
kill
insinuates
herself.
she's taken her own life, especially the way it's narrated as well. Like, sometimes I just don't know if I want to see her tomorrow. You're like, what?
Yeah.
Which again, like you said, is a great hook. Just to rewind before that though, when the Marvel bit starts, back in the day, it used to show off all the different characters, right?
Yeah.
And it had the music and everything. What I liked about it was, because obviously this is about the Avengers aren't around, that is cut short and there's not as much of it. And then it fades to this dark kind of black, if you noticed, the Marvel sign.
Oh, I can't even remember that.
And it doesn't even bring up Thunderbolts, because I was like, when is the credit sequence? The film starts and doesn't even do a title sequence.
Well, that's the point. They were trying to say that they're doing it like an A24 film, because they've got A24 actors.
Yeah. Which is what I liked about it. That's what I mean. They're not milking the teat of Marvel and the fact that this is a superhero movie. Because if anything, it doesn't feel like it. And like you said at the very beginning of this, I think if this was a standalone film that wasn't Marvel characters, this would be this is just a fantastic movie to watch, regardless of it being part of a Marvel phase. It's like you're saying, it's a great movie that just happens to have some of the Marvel characters in it.
Yeah, and the fact that they're not all superheroes and stuff. Like Bucky's the most superhero-y, and he's not super. Well, he is.
With his
He's-
arm in a dishwasher.
Yeah, he's like 90 years, and that's it. They add right. So the thing with this is that the bit I loved is the fact that one of my favorite Marvel films is got to be, well, series of films has got to be Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Because it's just pure fun, comedy, silly, and it's allowed to be.
Mhm.
You know, when they come into a different world of a different person's film, it gets a bit more serious and they bring a bit of levity. In Thunderbolts, it was not a comedy, but it was funny.
Yeah, I think that's because of the amazing David, what's his surname?
David Harbour.
Harbour. Because someone was saying this, he's not playing it for laughs. His character's just very funny as like the kind of, someone said he's like Father Christmas just in like armor. Like he's got this kind of big,
Yeah.
bulky kind of beard and he's very kind of, we got to do this.
Well, he's obsessed about getting on a packet of Wheaties cornflakes cereal. That's what he's obsessed with since the beginning of the film, because he feels like he's underappreciated, and he gets it.
Spoiler.
But-
he manifested being on the cereal box and he gets
but
it.
that's it. Kind of like on the trailers, you can get a mix from the trailers that it's all explosions and comedy, and I would say it's a dark drama
Yeah.
with some levity in there, and the comedy is on point and just enough to raise the bar enough without it going into silly territory.
I take it one step further. I'd say dark psychological thriller.
Yeah, because I mean,
Because it
it's
goes
not
into some really interesting places.
it's not subtle. Again, the reason I liked Guardians of the Galaxy, especially Volume 3, is that it is a silly comedy, and the bit with Rocket, and you find Rocket's backstory.
That's heartbreaking. Are you talking about 3? Yeah,
It's killer.
Yeah.
That's the first and only time I have been close to crying at a Marvel film.
Yeah.
That was dark, but Thunderbolts is like not like that all the way through. It's not a depressing film. It is still a fun film, but
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
the theme is very not subtle. It's clearly about depression and not feeling happy in the world and wanting to kill yourself. So Florence Pugh wants to kill herself.
Yeah.
Bob, I think, basically he's got a lot going on.
Well, yeah. They feel unfulfilled, don't they? They feel empty. Which is what people say depression is, where you feel empty, like nothing is worth it. I don't want to see it tomorrow.
I mean,
it's not worth it.
no one's happy bunnies in this. I mean, even
apart from Red Warrior,
Alexei.
No, David Harper's character.
Yeah, David Harbour. He plays Alexei Shoskadov.
But they call him Red something. He's called Red.
What is it?
Warrior or something. Yeah.
Google it.
I can't remember. Red Warrior?
David Harbour, Red Guardian.
Red Guardian, that's it.
But yeah, he's not happy. Hannah John-Kamen, who plays Ava Starr, who is the one that vanishes and disappears.
Oh, yeah. She was in the TV series The Strangers or Stranger or whatever it was.
Yeah, that was really good. Yeah, on Netflix.
Harlem something, but based on the book by Harlem.
But she's not happy. Wyatt Russell, he's not happy.
Yeah, he's not happy at all.
And that's what I like. Again, this film is 90% character for me. Yeah, there was good explosions. Yeah, there was a lack of CGI for once. Yeah, those are all great factors, but a good film is good characters. And 100%. Wyatt Russell is a hated character. And that's what people are saying about this film, is that's when you know it's a good film, when you can turn a hated character into a fan favorite.
Yeah, man.
Because
again, like you said about arcs, right? His arc is really interesting because he is a bit of a he's just a cold-hearted killer, which you have to be. And I think what's powerful about, when Bob, for example, touches people, which is brilliant for a brilliant bit of plant and payoff. When he touches people, they disappear without realizing into a memory, right?
Yeah.
And you get a sense of people's dark past. So that bit where he's there and he's not looking after his kid, he's kind of taking his family for granted, essentially.
But he's having internal trauma himself. He's looking at the media, and he's been slated in the media. He thinks he's doing a good job, and everyone hates him because he killed someone. Yeah. He's like, but that's my job. I'm a soldier. But he's not being loved for it. And
which again goes into the kind of PTSD thing, like, a bit like we were saying.
I think, the PTSD thing's a big factor. And that's when you realize, he's not an arsehole. He's got stuff going on. And other factors and stuff like that, and that's when you start to like him and you realize that he's an arsehole for a reason.
Well,
And then-
arrogance is a shield, right? It's like arrogance is like your protective armor in a weird way in certain
Yeah.
people. So-
It's like even in the real world, you know, bullies are not all bad people. Bullies are probably kids going through some bad shit at home and taking it out on the weak kid when they go to school. It doesn't mean they're a bad person. They're doing bad
Projection,
things.
right? We project the things we're going through sometimes onto other people, and
Yeah. You know, rather than shouting at the bully or fighting back, sometimes they just might need a friend, you know.
yeah.
Not always, there are some dickheads around, but
Yeah.
there's quite
There
a
are
few
some
reasons.
assholes out there.
But-
Yeah.
But just so I mean, again, if you don't know what's going on, you're probably not listening to this episode anyway. But we've mentioned Bob a few times, but not told anyone who Bob is.
He's a
And
builder.
he is the most important part. Yeah, Louis Pullman, son of Bill Pullman,
Bill Pullman, amazing.
and we saw him first in
Tom Cruise.
Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
Yeah, playing Bob as well.
That's the homage I heard, because he asked to be called Bob again as a beautiful
No, he
nod
has
to
to be
Tom Cruise.
not called Bob.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's called Bob, and he didn't want to be called Bob because he just played Bob in Top Gun
Oh,
Maverick.
I thought it was a nod. Like he's like, can I be
No.
called Bob just because like a little wink to Top Gun?
No, it's the opposite. He's
Oh,
like,
okay.
I don't want
Yeah.
to play Bob again. Pick another name.
Yeah,
Like,
Bill.
Nope.
That's my
You are
dad. You know?
typecast as
Yeah.
Bob. But he was good in that. But I don't know if you've seen it on Apple. You've got Apple, right?
I've got Apple.
There's a program called Lessons in Chemistry.
I've heard of this. Yeah. I haven't seen it, but I've heard great
Honestly,
things.
amazing. And it's got what's her name in it? It has got Brie Larson,
Okay.
who
Yeah.
plays Captain America,
Yeah.
as well, and she's in it.
No, Captain
and
Marvel.
It's Captain Marvel. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
It's 1950s drama about female scientists, and he plays the partner, and he's amazing in it. That's much better role than the Maverick one.
Did you know? Rumor has it was supposed to be Stephen Yeun who was going to originally
I'll
play
play Century.
Sentry, right? But there's
Yes.
a really funny connection to that, because he says invincible loads of times in his dialogue, right?
Yeah.
And he plays the character Invincible in the TV series, which is the animation.
Oh, the cartoon one.
Yeah. And which is kind of like an 18, like it's really goes dark side. And he wears yellow and blue or black. So he would have been like a carbon copy of Invincible in the Marvel thing. I thought Pullman did such a good job. Louis Pullman did such a great job.
Yeah, and so everyone knows the very beginning scene is Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who plays the bad guy, who is brilliant. I thought
She does comedy normally, right?
Yeah, it's like from
Famous
Seinfeld.
TV series.
Seinfeld.
Seinfeld, yeah.
Yeah. She's in
Yeah.
tons of stuff like that. She's like a proper like Hollywood bigwig. Like
Yeah.
she's big, but there's been like big actors playing villains before, and it's just been rubbish because they're not given enough meat on the bone type thing. And
Her character's so well like bulked out. Do you know what I mean? She's got a lot of screen time, and
yeah,
you get a sense of what she wants, and she's very narcissistic and ego-driven.
Also, it brings into her assistant Geraldine Viswanathan, who I love. She's in loads of cool shit.
She was brilliant.
I wish she had more of a role, but she was kind of perfect for what she was doing, I guess.
Yeah, but like you said, she's so memorable in those scenes she has because of what she brings to the character, and she brings an empathy to the character and being stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Oh, but she's a bit of a prick as well. You think she's gonna have a heart because Bucky's got to her, and she's gonna turn and be the savior, and at the end she just asks for more money.
Yeah, which is dark side. Yeah.
So she stays on the dark side there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the opening scene when they all meet is Florence Pugh. Yelena has been given the task of killing someone, and that someone's been given a task of killing another person, and basically Julia Dreyfus she's been getting impeached, and she's getting rid of all her stuff because she's been trying to create a superhero basically, who is Bob, and she's getting rid of everything, and she ends up calling all her mercenaries to kill each other without them
Yeah.
knowing. So they all go to one
Well, they call it
place,
cleaning house, right? It's called cleaning house where you take everyone out. Yeah.
and she locks them in, and she's going to burn them all,
Yeah.
incinerate them, basically. But
Well,
obviously-
someone, sorry to interrupt. Someone said that it's how lucky that it's a 2-minute countdown rather than it happening straight away. It's like, but I was thinking you have to initiate it.
you have to warm up the things, otherwise you won't know.
Yeah, it's like an oven, man. You can't just, it's not going to cook them properly otherwise.
But the second they're all in, you'd shut the doors. You wouldn't go, oh, but now I'm going to shut door.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You got to have some film tropes in there,
This
otherwise.
is what I was saying to people. Like, it upsets me when people don't, sustain their disbelief. It's like, come on, man. A guy gets shot like 1 million times with bullets and he's still alive in the next scene. It's like you got to have fun with it. It's fun. Just let this weird continuity part of realism go a little bit with these films.
Yeah, within reason. If you can't see the seams, then enjoy it. Sometimes you can see and it takes you out of it. But that didn't bother me.
It didn't bother me. I just thought this is cool because at one point it got quite intense because I think at one point they throw a knife and they pass it through each other. And you're like, whoa, where's this knife? Who's this knife going to go into?
Because they're so good at weapons. One throws a knife, the other one dodges it, and the other person catches it.
And tries to use it on the other person. Yeah.
Yeah, so
like passing a baton. A violent baton.
You could go past this fighting scene, but this fighting sequence is really good. It's really intricate.
It's incredibly well choreographed.
Yeah, it's like a proper dance.
Yeah. I love that kind of stuff.
But
you see her use that electronic thing she talks about because that's how she stops the knife. She goes.
Yeah, Yelena.
Really
yeah.
Cool.
But that's when we first see Bob. He's just like a guy in robes, like hospital gown.
Yeah.
Stand up, and he's like, "Where am I? Who are you?
Who are you guys?
How are you?
I'm
Bob."
Yeah.
And then we later realize that he is the weapon that Julia Louis-Dreyfus is building.
Well, dude, there's a cool bit that I didn't realize until it hit me again when I saw it later on in the film. Where when he slams him, when Thingy says, "I'm sick of this guy," and he slams him into the wall. Bob's eyes light up ever so slightly, and if you're not looking, if you briefly miss it, it will go, and you'll be like, "What?" I was like, something happened there in his eyes. I was like, he's more
I noticed
than
that. Yeah. But that I just thought it was so good because he's like quite like nervous guy.
Yeah.
But then if you touch him, he can take. It's like Inception. He goes into your brain, and the person he touches ends up reliving a traumatic memory.
Yeah.
But them standing and watching themselves do a bad thing.
Yeah.
And then if you turn around, Bob might be in the dream with you.
Yeah. Hi. Yeah.
And he doesn't know he's doing it because he's just woke up. And Julia, what's her name? Valentina. That's who Julia Louis-Dreyfus is playing. She's basically murdered hundreds of people that have been test subjects to do this drug to make them into the superhero, and he's the only one that survived. And even she didn't know he survived because he's in the incinerator and he just wakes up.
100%. It's like a big bin. She's just trying to burn everything to get rid of all evidence. Yeah.
But when he turns into but that again, that's what's so good because he's depressed, and that's the point. He signed up for this drug trial because he's depressed and he was on meth, and he was like, "Fuck it, I'll have some free drugs and see what happens." And he speaks to Yelena, Florence Pugh, and says, "What do you do? What should I do about feeling bad?" And she's like, "Just bury it right down deep inside."
Russian style, yes.
And then she's like, "No, I'm joking." But she cares for him. That when the people come to kill them, realizing they've escaped, she protects him, and it's kind of obvious what's going to happen. But he remembers that when things go bad, he goes softly on her because of that, because she's a nice person.
They create a bond, and it's very difficult to do in a film to make it. That's why, because someone was saying, "Oh, why does this sequence have to be so long with all of them in this kind of almost like the Crystal Maze? They're all trapped inside of almost like a sequence.
Yeah,
they've got to work
it
together.
Yeah,
and that's how they build this bond, and they care for each other. Because, like you're saying, we're all going to get out of here together. But the idea that he wants to contribute, and they keep saying no, and he's like, "Can I have a gun?" No, it's like he wants to help, but they think he's a bit of a weakling, he's going to be a problem. Like this isn't going to work.
And I love how they get out and how shit it is as well when they're going up the pipe.
Oh yeah, that's hilarious, man.
And it's so shit. And it's like, I like this because there's flaws here. When they all like get to them, go, yeah, now what?
Yeah, but then it's almost like what I thought they were going to say is a funny line moment, because you know when they see him fly through the air later on, I thought the guy was going to say, "Why didn't he do that before?" You know, when they all climbed for about half an hour up a pipe. Yeah,
that's good. When he does change, I mean, skipping a bit when it goes to the later sequence when they meet up and Valentina's had a chance to actually train Bob and tell him what he actually is and what he can do.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he learns very, very quickly
When he
from
bubbles
smashing a
water,
glass.
when he like does bubble water. Yeah.
But within what we think could be an hour from smashing,
that should have been
you've got to suspend belief.
That should have been a montage though, because like someone said, it's 2 hours and 2 minutes. Like this film could have been 2 hours and 40 minutes. I was loving it. They could have had a longer montage, and they probably did, of him learning and trying different things in a training facility.
Yeah.
But in one scene, he's like, "I'm a badass." You're like, huh?
But he is basically a god. And that's what he says, isn't he? He goes, "I'm a god." He's like, "You're not a god." And was like, "Well, you just said I was stronger than the Avengers, and there's at least one god in them."
That was cool, though. That was really eerie when he was starting to get a little bit, kind of a bit of an egomaniac. Like,
yeah, he was starting to go, "Oh, I am actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna." Yeah.
And then when he says, "You can't tell me what to do," you're like, "Oh shit, this like the leash is off, and she's got no control over him now, apart from the dead switch." But you're like,
yeah, that kill switch he's got. But yeah, but even that, and they do the full on Matrix when he shoots loads of bullets. He just goes,
Oh, that was
drop the bullets.
That was so cool, man. That was so cool.
I wonder if they had to get permission for that. That must be trademark, that one move.
Oh yeah, 100%. Stop.
But to be fair, if you think about it, he is possibly the coolest villain / good guy, because he's both.
Yeah.
Bit of a spoiler.
I was thinking that because
getting into it.
It reminded me almost of Homelander, though, how badass he is. You know, like in one of the episodes where I think a few of them try to take him on and he's just almost untouchable. And how you see him defeat each one of them. Actually, almost simultaneously at one point.
Yeah, well, there's nothing they could do.
Yeah.
He's like got his own little force field and he's stronger than everyone else.
Yeah.
I thought...
Well, let's rewind. Let's rewind when they're escaping that big kind of facility, and Valentina's guards and everyone are like kind of breaking in to get them out. And then they're trying to work together to basically get out, aren't they? And that I liked the fact that they all have to trust each other, because he's like, "Is she going to come back?" And she's like, "Well, I wouldn't. I barely know you guys. She doesn't have to be that loyal." And they've all got a little bit of a mission to help each other get to the next bit, and they've all got to trust each other and hope that it's, because I think she escapes to get the van. Yeah. He's supposed to take out all the guards while she turns the power on. And then Bob's saying, the electrics aren't going to work. This isn't going to... And she's like, it'll be fine. And then the lights don't go on. She's like, shit, we got to go back and...
But yeah, and that's when I mean, there's some comic elements in that franticness as well, but that's when the proper comedy hits in, when they're trekking through the desert they've left. And then that's when David Harbour and he's... in
the limousine.
Red limo appears. And he's like, "Yelena, don't go in there. She's going to kill you." He's like, "Oh, God. I don't know him. Yelena, it's your dad." Like, "God damn it."
And I heard that's a popcorn bucket, is the red limousine. People were talking
Peter's
about
got one.
Pete had one. He was posing with it outside the poster.
And I love the fact that they're in the car, and he's like, and they're getting chased by the other cars. He's like, "Quick, I'll flick the switch," and it just puts on Pony. Goes,
she's like, who are your guests? She says, "Who do you drive?"
That and I did like that was the one bit that kind of changed, because they're getting chased away by people, and obviously they're trying to get it, and then it's the point where, because Florence Pugh is just ducking down, because they're just getting a hail of bullets in a crappy car, and it's only Wyatt Russell with his Captain America shield that's blocking stuff.
All the bullets, And
then Yelena gets a good moment where she gets out of the window to go to shot the wheel. And when she shot the wheel and it blew up, I was like, that's a bit much. And then you realise that it is Bucky with the bombs. And you're like, I'm glad I didn't. That's not what I thought was happening. And
it would have been really cheese. Yeah. It's clever.
But then the funniest bit is when they're like, "Well, hey, Bucky's here to save us," and then the bomb
He
arrives
fires
on their
one on
car,
them.
and they're like, "Oh shit!"
That was genius, though. He shoots a little limpet mine on their car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I totally thought he was on their side, and I
Yeah,
forgot
so did
that he's
I.
not. He's trying to bring them in to.
Which we were saying is a little bit Terminator-esque, where he's on a mission as like a
Yeah.
bounty to take them down, and then he's on the bike with the shotgun. And
That's
it's
it.
all
When he does the
very,
one-arm shotgun
Yeah.
reload, it's like, yeah,
very T2.
leathers.
He might as well have said, "Have you seen this kid?" But yeah, but also I was going to say, that thing he does on the bike is very Tom Cruise Mission Impossible.
Yeah,
So
he
if you're
slows
talking
down
about-
on the front wheel.
Yeah, if you're talking about Matrix bullets, Mission Impossible 2 is that thing he does with the bike that Bucky
Yeah.
did. So there's a lot of homages to Tom Cruise. Everyone's a fan. Like we were saying the other day in one of our other episodes, that he's the master of kind of memorable stunts and cool kind of choreography. So it's great that they're kind of, taking their cap off to
I love that.
Ethan Hawke.
I didn't.
Ethan Hunt.
There's no point of this film that I didn't enjoy. I enjoyed all the darkness. I enjoyed all the lightness. I enjoyed the combination, and I think it gelled well because you can have different tonalities in films, and it can juxtapose too much and be quite jarring or take you out of it.
They got the mix perfectly, though. I know. So remember we were talking about Thor: Love and Thunder. That was all over the place because it felt too dark with the Christian Bale moments and too comical with the Chris Hemsworth ones, and they didn't get the balance right. Whereas
I
this
did enjoy that film though.
I enjoyed moments
I
of
enjoyed
it.
it on the silly side. I enjoyed the silliness, but yeah, like you're saying, Christian Bale's too good of an actor to be.
You've got like this Oscar-winning kind of chameleon in a Marvel film, and
he was doing it serious, wasn't he? He was like, he would have worked in Thunderbolts. He would have worked in Thunderbolts.
But yeah, because I was going to say, like the comedy moments really help because of everything going on. Like one of the funniest moments is when Bucky gets them all back to that place and they're all tied up, and they're saying Bob's not this little dude anymore. He's like, who's Bob? And he's like, he's gonna be trouble, man. We just saw what they're gonna do to him. And he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, we need to go to the facility and save him before something bad happens. And then he gets the phone call, and then it's like, it's what's her name saying, the guy that we thought we had in control, it's all going out of. His name's Bob or something, and they were like, "Bob, we told you."
Yes, that's the Bob.
Yeah, it was so fun. And they say Bob so many times, like it's really, really funny.
And I love the explanation of Thunderbolts because it's teased in the trailer that because he goes, "We are the Thunderbolts," and then Wyatt Russell's going, "No, you can't call us that." And I thought, because of the asterisks on the poster, I thought, is there a genuine copyright reason they can't call themselves Thunderbolts, which is what that asterisk is about?
Yeah.
So, because in the trailer, when he says, Thunderbolts, and Wyatt Russell is like, "No, you can't call us that." I thought that was a meta joke taking the piss out of.
And they're trying to
call that.
Be. Yeah.
But then you find out in the program, it's them
The
talking about
stories.
cool shit they've done, and Yelena doesn't have one, so she's like, "Yeah, I played in Pee-wee football, and it was so bad, a girl took a shit on the field."
Yeah. When he says that is brilliant.
Or called the Thunderbolts, and then he jokingly went, "Yeah, the Thunderbolts."
Yeah, but he's such a kind of he kind of brings the gang together, doesn't he? Like the Red Guardian, like he's like, "We're going to be a team," and it's like he wants this.
Yeah,
he wants it so badly since his.
I mean, they already kind of
team.
are a team, but he makes it like concrete. Makes it that.
And you see where they're almost fans of each other, or like, well, Red Guardian is like, he's almost like kind of geeking out when Bucky's next to him in the front of the car when they're like, "We're all going to work together. This is what it's about." And you could see he's like geeking out. He's like, "Wow, we with you."
Yeah. Well, I mean, do you? I don't know if you know the director of this film, Jake Schreier. He's, if you look at what films he's done zero things that would qualify him to do a Marvel film, which is why he's perfect. Like,
which I love. It felt like an indie film. This is what we were saying, man. You said A24, we said indie. It didn't feel like a blockbuster superhero movie, which sometimes get bad press. It felt like, you said, like a psychological, well thought out kind of thriller. really, with
Yeah, it's like when
sprinkles
directors
of
like
comedy.
Quentin Tarantino gets his editor, and the editor is like someone who normally does completely different sort of films. He's like, yeah,
Yeah.
perfect, I want that. And like things like, what is it, Godfather? You know, when The Godfather was edited, the person edited.
Oh yeah, well, Francis Ford Coppola's wife re-edited it for him. Yeah,
Yeah, and she doesn't do that type of film. She did it. She did it as a drama as opposed to a
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
gangster movie, and it
Yeah.
worked better because
Yeah.
stories are stories. If you tell
Yeah,
it
yeah,
better,
yeah.
it's a better film. But this guy, so this director, Jake Schreier, he did the film Robot and Frank,
Oh yes, yeah.
which is a warm-hearted. It's funny,
It's
but it's
animation,
not
isn't it?
silly. No,
Or-
no. It's
No.
a literal AI robot that pops in.
Oh my god, yeah, with what's his name? Yeah, Langella. Yeah.
Frank Langella, yeah, and Liv Tyler, Susan Sarandon, James Marsden, and it's really warm-hearted. But he also directed Beef.
Yes,
Netflix
TV series, which was a masterpiece that we've mentioned many times on this podcast.
Yeah, so that's the sort of shit he is. The other stuff, you wouldn't know him from any stuff. He did something with that Dave program, that Jewish
Actually,
comedian guy.
dude, Beef makes a lot of sense, man, because we talked about, do you remember we said how dark and wonderful kind of like woven comedy there is throughout Beef?
Yeah, that's all over the place, isn't it? But it
Yeah.
makes sense. And he did the kidding program, the one with Jim
Oh,
Carrey.
Jim Carrey, man. Yeah. That was,
Yeah,
wow,
yeah.
again, dark with comedy.
Yeah, like depressing,
Yeah.
but still lighthearted and funny.
Yeah.
So he's very good at straddling that. But you'd never pick him to do a Marvel film, like not in a million years. So he must have had a pitch that made it more suitable for it.
Dude, this, I think, though, is a perfect kind of catalyst for maybe Marvel will go down different routes instead of having, well, it was the Russo brothers, right, that did a lot of the Marvel films. So to have, like, open the field to other kind of almost more indie-based filmmakers, essentially, taking on the mantle of Marvel is a proof in how good the pudding tastes, and it tastes fucking brilliant.
Well, they're producers and stuff out as well for like Avengers, Doomsday, and they're involved in a lot of all of those as well. But yeah, obviously they did Endgame and things like that as well. But yeah,
there's another bit of comedy. Sorry, again, when they decide to almost do like a weird heist to drive through the baddie base and then take out all these different people, and then on the tannoy, it's like, guys, the doors were open, like come upstairs, and it's like they just drop what they're doing halfway through a fight with people. They're like, what?
Well, that's when they meet Sentry for the first time, who's just like he is a god. He is like the most impressive person. But that's the thing, is because even up to that point, I could guess, I could think, but you didn't know for sure, because in the trailer is so good at not showing the bad guy.
100%.
Or so I thought, but the bad guy is just a shadow. But
yeah.
The trailer is just the back of a shadow, and then you see the. Well, did you read about what the inspiration for the shadow deaths for killing the people were?
No, it felt very Thanos though, but
it's. Oh fuck! I forgot. I might get this wrong. Apologies. I wrote it down, then I forgot about it. It's I think it was Pompeii, not Pompeii. One of those disasters where there was no, it wasn't Pompeii. It was one of those. No, it was a nuclear disaster.
Chernobyl.
One of those ones. Oh fuck! I sound like an idiot.
Chernobyl's
now.
Russian. It makes sense because there's Russian characters, but Chernobyl.
No, that's got nothing to do with it. It's
okay.
When it blew up, some people evaporate, like disintegrated, and there's like a shadow imprint of humans on steps and floors.
Oh my god, you're burnt in almost. Yeah.
Yeah.
It happened in Oppenheimer.
Decades later, there's still human remains etched into the concrete. They can't get it off unless they redid it, type thing.
Jesus.
And they were getting a bit of flack for that being the inspiration, but if you're doing something devastating, you take inspiration from something devastating.
But that's the part where it's really haunting, because not only like the darkness is spreading through the city like a shadow with like claws, and it's like it's really quite frightening, and then people are just But it did remind me on an epic level, like Thanos, where he just clicks and starts disappearing people. But instead of them being dust, they're shadows.
Yeah.
Um,
It's the haunting shadows left behind by the atomic bombings of Hiroshima.
There you go. I said Oppenheimer just then as well. So,
Yeah. But
Yeah.
that's it. When because Bob Lewis Pullman plays Bob, who turns into Century, who is the all-knowing god. He's dressed in gold. He's cool as
Yeah.
fuck.
He's not sure about his hair.
Also, Guardians of the Galaxy link because it's kind of like Will Poulter and his character and that
Oh,
a little bit
yeah,
because he's
yeah.
gold.
Yeah.
Much better and less stupid.
Yeah.
And then because
Midas.
this guy,
Isn't he Midas? Because the Midas touch is in someone that touches you with gold.
not a clue, mate.
Okay.
But this guy, because they've chosen someone who is a drug addict, who is depressed, who has got mental issues, who has been abused his whole life and watched his mum being abused, and he's not right in the head, he gets depressed and dark thoughts. So he's this happy Century guy, and the second he gets a bad thought in his head, flips and he turns into this dark, like not even a shadow, like minus, like so black, just tiny little dot eyes.
They're creepy, the eyes though, with the glints. Just the.
Do you know that? What was that? I listened to a podcast the other day, and it told me what that was inspired by. It was a cartoon, like a silly cartoon.
The Moomins.
No, even
They got shiny eyes.
even sillier, like not Wallace and Gromit, something along those lines.
But it's creepy as hell because you can't see anything but just a reflection of dark eyes.
Yeah. But that's it. When he turns into that, he is creepy as anything, and that's when he just goes around killing I thought he was killing everyone, and then
me too.
When Florence Pugh walks again, because we think everyone's dying, and Florence Pugh is like walking close to the shadow. We're like, well, she's not going to go in it, even though she's depressed. But then I'm like, oh,
yeah,
and then she just kills herself.
Yeah, I thought game over. Like I probably thought, are they doing a Game of Thrones thing? Like,
yeah, I thought this was shock. I was like that. Okay, that has shocked me, and it's done what it's meant to do, but that's pissed me off as well because we need more Florence Pugh.
100%.
Luckily, she was back a few minutes later.
Yeah, but then you just realise it's loads of people going off into mini kind of like therapy sessions all over New York.
Really bad therapy sessions.
Really bad therapy sessions. Go look at your past. What?
Look at the most traumatic thing and live it on repeat forever.
Yeah, until you get out of that samskara, break the pattern of your past.
Yeah. But that was what's good about it. She goes in, and that's when it got emotional for me as well, because because it went serious, because she's in her nightmare realm, watching herself as a kid bring another kid to the woods for her dad to murder. That's her fault.
That was crazy dark. Yeah,
really dark, and she's living it on repeat, and then she's realizing, right, Bob's in here somewhere, and she's going to try and break through these walls and try and get to him.
Yeah,
and she's there struggling, but in the real world, when David Harbour breaks down that she's just been turned into dust, that got me. I was like, oh, David Harbour proper screaming and distressed, and I was like, fuck, is that just lost his daughter?
Can we put a pin at just to rewind though? You know when I used to say about heroes don't become heroes till the villain becomes their most powerful. When Sentry turns dark side and starts floating through the air and destroying helicopters, that's fucking scary. But that's when they come together to save the city, and they're brilliant at it. And that's where you've got that cool clip where the car's about to hit Yelena when she saves the little girl. Yeah. And then he punches it with one hand, his good hand, his metal hand. Yeah. And it just flips, and it's that cool shot in the trailer, and you're like, whoa. And then the Red Guardian picks up half a building because he's a bit of a beast himself. And he carries it like an umbrella, like saving like 10 people under him. He's like, get to the bus shelter. You're like, it was insane.
But that's what's horrible when he saves that little girl and everyone's clapping him, and then she vanishes. She goes, I was like, no, they did not just kill a little toddler.
Mate,
no, they did not.
Was clever.
Yeah, because we assumed they're all dying.
Yeah.
Big, massive spoiler. No one dies. They're all getting just taken to dark spaces. But they'd be there forever. So in effect, they did die. But it was the Thunderbolts going into the shadows to find Yelena
Yeah.
and find Bob and put a smile on his face,
Yeah.
brings him back.
Well,
basically.
this is what I liked about it, though. When people were saying, "Oh, well, how can you beat someone that's invincible?" I was like, "Well, you've got to find his Achilles heel." So the idea of like almost entering into it was weird because it reminded me a little bit of Stranger Things. I don't know if you've seen a lot of the Stranger Things where they have to go into like back past bits to destroy certain things, to destroy the thing that's coming to the town now. They have to go back to a different part of it and take away the darkness, which was very similar to this. But it also reminded me of, again, like Inception, you know, like when he's in different memories and he's having to fight his way through memories and molds there. It's like those little moments, they're having to fight their past selves. Because that bit where Yelena sees herself on the bath and I think she's overdosed or something. I don't know if that ever happened or if it's just like a scary.
I think it's just like, I think it's a memory. I think it's her depressed drinking. I don't know if she's trying to kill herself or not, but she was
right.
in a
But I
bad
mean, the fact that it's in a bathroom feels very, very kind of ominous.
Yeah.
And she grabs her, and at one point she's fighting herself. And there was this, like we're saying, this theme of you've got to take on, you know, you've got to beat your own demons, if in a way, like face your own fears, which is sometimes parts of yourself. Yeah, man.
There's so many dark parts to this and so many deep meanings within the mental health side of things.
Yeah.
And that running theme really holds it together and makes it a substantial film, because I know proper Marvel people. I'm not a proper Marvel person. I've watched them all just because I'm in it now. Keep going.
I had a free day. Yeah.
But I'm not one of these guys that go, "Oh, Endgame's the best film." I'm like, yeah, it was cool, but it's the same trick that Deadpool and Wolverine did. You know, it's bringing enough cameos and classic people in that you almost can disregard the story a little bit because you're just excited about the cameos. I mean, I do like them. I do like both these films.
Well, and they bring a bit of kind of like Back to the Future because there's a lot of time jumping through.
Yeah, but the point is, I would rather watch a good, solid drama that grabs me and moves me, than a Marvel film any day of the week.
100%.
But I still want the big explosions of a Marvel film every now and again to entertain me. Whereas I think Thunderbolts, to me, is a big claim, and I know people love Marvel. They're enjoying this film, but I would say it's better than Endgame because it gave me more.
Yeah.
After Endgame finished, I was like, yeah, that was wicked. I was buzzing, but I didn't think about it again. There's nothing to think about.
Well, you're
Everyone
right.
came out, did a fight and won.
Mate,
All the CGI people beat the other CGI people.
This has stayed with me though, man. The fact that when the dark version of Bob is saying no one cares about you, and he's trapped all of the other people and they're fighting to get to him. And that bit where they all hold him, man, that's the bit where I broke down.
Yeah,
they
same.
all hold him, and because he's punching the darkness, and she's like, "Stop! It's what he wants," and he starts to go
he's
dark.
turning dark, isn't he?
And then there'll be two of them. You're like, "Oh shit, this is really bad. We've lost Bob to the darkness." So when they all hold him, man,
Bob.
Yeah, bad Bob. Big bad Bob. That bit broke me, man. They're all just holding him, and then gradually the darkness is slowly coming off him. And it's that idea of that we can be there for each other and in the darkest of times. It hits on such a level. And I was saying to my manager the other day that like a lot of people that probably watch Marvel films and like they're big into their comics and stuff, a lot of those people tend not to leave their homes. You know, some of them could be kind of agoraphobics, or do you know what I mean? Like they're not, some of them are quite introverted people that tend to be big into kind of comics and stuff like that. And they look to superheroes as kind of role models and things like that, to give them like a chance and go, Joe, I feel like I'm an outcast, or I feel a bit strange, but these people are a big, you know, inspiration to me. And I was saying the fact that these are flawed, real people that just kick and punch. They don't have superpowers. They're not like shooting lasers or flying. They're just real people that get bruised and bleed and hurt and have memories and past traumas. It's so refreshing to think of how many millions Marvel has touched to bring a film like this to the forefront, to talk about mental health in this way and literally bring it into the light as such a kind of thematic theme all the way through is is such a brave and powerful thing. And I think that's what gives this film its extra edge.
Do you think it's stealthy? It's very sneaky because it's the sort of film that you'd have to, for this type of film normally, you'd have to seek it out and want to see this type of subject matter. But like you said, this film is infiltrating the average person who just wants to see people exploding, and they might get more from it.
100%.
Because
It's almost like the Trojan horse. It's the Trojan horse of mental health in a way.
Yeah.
Because it's not until that moment happens where Yelena, well, you have a moment where Yelena and Bob have that moment where you can see they really care. And she goes, I know you. I know what you've been through because I feel the same thing. And it's that connection and that relatability that makes the third act so powerful because she's willing to go through her darkness to get to him. Which again is kind of Inception in a weird way. He has to fight Maul to save Fisher. So it's
that's it. This film, it left me feeling warm and fuzzy. Like,
yeah.
I was like, these are good people. I'm on there. I don't care that Robert Downey Jr. is pretty funny and cheeky. I don't care that Chris Hemsworth is a funny guy. I love this group of people. I'm in their world. I want to see what they do next.
Mate, I didn't miss the Avengers. Like, I was so with the Thunderbolts that I was like, this team they've assembled. And like when we talk about arcs, the fact that 1 minute they're trying to kill each other, then next minute they're all hugging to try and save Bob. And
they've like you said, they've all saved each other. You know, Wyatt Russell is depressed because his wife and child left him because he was a bit of a shit dad and husband.
Yeah.
He needs support to become a better person. And I'm sure later in the future he'll get his wife back or at least see his kid.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, not everything has to be wrapped up in a nice little bow, but if he's allowed to see his kid and his ex-wife is pleasant to him, that's a win. You know, co-parent, that type of thing. But they've all got these little journeys that can improve from, and they've all benefited from each other. And there's little moments, just little small moments where, the biggest dickhead is like, I'll get you, I'll save you, I'll do this. And then they all group together and it is like,
that bit where they're all trying to get
all films do, but this has done it so much better.
Yeah.
And it's more ingrained in the emotional construct that it's not just, oh, that's cool. People are getting on. This is, wow, they've really overcome genuine shit. And it's real relatable stuff. It's not, oh, I'm a superhero alien and I don't like my dad who's a god. It's relatable.
Grounded. It's grounded in reality, isn't it? That's what makes it really poignant. Yeah.
And did you know in the, let's go full spoiler, post-credit scene?
Yeah.
Have you seen the clip of the joke that Sebastian Stan and Wyatt Russell made on the final, but that didn't make the cut?
No.
So, you know, the very final end credit scene is with them as the new Avengers.
Yeah.
And they see the ship, an interdimensional ship. So it's not even from another world. It's from the same world, but a different dimension.
Yeah, yeah.
You see it flying through the air. It's just a point. And then it turns
to show the four.
The four of Fantastic Four.
Which is a nice, because someone said finally they're doing chronological links. Because, you know, a lot of the random ones are like, when they used to do Marvel end credit sequences, it was for something that's happened, or it was for something in like 6 months' time, or
I still don't know why Harry Styles is in a post-credit scene for a film. Like, it's pointless. But the point I'm trying to make is that it was meant to be a joke. So, you know, like Leslie Nielsen in Naked Gun doing or Airplane doing stupid pun jokes.
Yeah.
So when that turned and it says 4, Sebastian Stan turns to Wyatt Russell and goes, "What's that for?" And he goes, "I don't know what that's for."
That's brilliant. That's dad jokes.
But it's so good. But apparently they kept on doing it like, you know, what does mine say? Dude, what does mine say?
Yeah.
What does mine say? It was going to be like, no, what is it for? Yeah, I don't know what it's for. No, what is it for? Yeah. I don't know what it's for. It's going to be like that. And they were talking in an interview going, I haven't seen it yet. Did it make the cut? And he's like, nah, man.
Nah. But there's a funny bit. There's a funny bit where they say something to do with Bob, and I can't remember it now. And a part of me just wants to watch it just for the end credit again, because it's like a 4-minute end credit. It's amazingly long.
It's
lovely.
a proper scene, yeah.
And it's supposedly it might be connected to Doomsday as well. They're
Well,
saying
it's filmed on the set of Doomsday.
Yeah,
yeah.
And but yeah, it's something that Bob says, and he's like, sorry guys, and it's like they're like, why couldn't you done such and such? He's like, well, if you do, you get me and the other guy, and they are able to find a little bit of joviality in the fact that there's the dark part of him and what they've all been through, essentially.
But do you reckon he's got to come out to play in Fantastic Four? Do you reckon the Thunderbolts are coming into? No, actually,
I was going to say
Fantastic
Doom.
Four is going to be a standalone film.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And at the end of that, it's going to fly into Thunderbolts at the end.
Yeah,
and that's when Doomsday comes into play.
Yeah, but I also think maybe because if Bob is in Doomsday, which I imagine he is, I think he might have to bring up. I think he might have to bring the dark character because Doctor Doom is so powerful in the comics. He does something crazy to Thanos without doing.
Yeah, he eats worlds. He kills Thanos. He kills everyone. He eats worlds.
Yeah. So I think that this is what's genius again about Thunderbolts is Dark Century. I think will be a rival to.
But this is where it gets bad guys, superheroes get silly. I mean, all superheroes are silly because I'm more powerful than you. And like,
yeah.
But the bad guys, you got Thanos, the most powerful person with the 5 stones, and click, and half the world disappears.
Yeah,
and you're getting upped by Doctor Doom, who kills worlds.
Yeah,
you're getting upped in Fantastic Four by Galactica, who crushes worlds.
Yeah,
and Silver Surfer, who disintegrates worlds.
Yeah,
and like who's the biggest baddest?
Yeah, What? It's like a dick swinging competition, but in the Marvel world. You're like,
yeah.
It's a tricky one, man.
It's a weird one. But yeah, I did enjoy that end credit scene, and I do like Bob and Louis.
I want to watch it again, man. I think I will treat myself because I am unlimited. I think I will go and see it a second time.
Louis Pullman is on the deck chairs. You know that the chairs is panned out, showing all the characters that are in Doomsday. Louis Pullman's name is there.
I didn't even think of that. Yeah, of course. So, well, it also makes sense because of the way, again, spoilers, because he survives that situation.
Yeah,
it's the other version of him.
Oh, do you know how I saw the film as well? At the weekend, prior to the film, I went and had an aromatherapy, deep tissue massage, full body,
baby.
And then went to the cinema. I went to go pick up Ryan afterwards, my mate, to go and see it with him. And he gets in the car, and the first thing he says to me is, "Sorry if I smell. I've just had a tattoo." I'm like, "Oh, let's see." He's got a full chest tattoo, and he's still got the cellophane on him from like yesterday, and he's in a bit of pain.
Yeah,
the tattoo.
So about the metallic smell of my blood. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, he's got tattoo cream all over him.
Oh, okay.
Painful. And he's like, "Sorry if I smell." And I was like, "Mate, I can only smell me. I smell of aromatherapy. I've just got out of this, and I smelled like if you're going to mess out like a
like lavender place. Or Yolanda or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Yolanga.
And he goes, "Oh yeah, I can't even smell myself anymore." After he closed the door and got in, he's like, "Oh yeah, I can only smell you now."
Nice.
Sat in the cinema watching stuff like that.
Mate, that's lovely that you went together, man. I saw Thunderbolts on my lonesome, but I was in the cinema with like 9 other people, and we had a whale of a time.
Oh, I'm happy to go on my own, to be honest,
mate. But that's the thing again that you say about cinema. It brings lots of different couples of people or individuals together for one experience, and everyone was glued to that screen, man. It was unbelievable.
Oh, did you hear someone online made a estimate of how things predicts what's going to happen in one of the next films when they all get together? And I agree, because they're going to meet the Fantastic Four, and you know how Wyatt Russell is his shield is bent.
Oh, but, it's like a taco, man, because of what
the thing's going to stretch it out for him, I think.
Oh, the rock guy.
Yeah. I think that's the plan. I think that's what's going to happen next.
I think that's cool. I think it's mad that they've got X-Men characters in there, mate. They've never done X-Men into the Marvel.
And that's going to be exciting.
And it's
I mean,
the old
again, it's
school
just
one
throwing
as well.
everything together, but it's still going to work out well.
Yeah, but like what we're talking about, bringing such gravitas with really kind of old school actors. You've got like Kelsey Grammer, you've got Ian McKellen, Patrick Stewart. Like, I mean, you've got some serious Halle Berry, I think, as well. If I'm not mistaken, as Storm.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if she's in
I'm
it.
pretty sure I saw that, unless it was like a fake thing that someone created. They said, here are the other people that weren't on the chairs.
I don't think she's in it.
I mean,
But we haven't actually
spoiler
mentioned.
alert.
We haven't even mentioned the asterisks, because my interpretation of what the asterisks meant was when it ended, I went, "Oh, the asterisk just means Bob," but it doesn't. It means the new Avengers.
Yeah, I thought it was like a symbol of like, yeah.
Well, that's that's what the asterisks mean. That's why they've changed all the posters. It's only been out. It's only been out a few days, and they've
Yeah.
changed all the posters. They've ripped Thunderbolts out, and it's all
Yeah.
they're called the new Avengers now.
Yeah.
So it's not,
Cool.
and it's on IMDb and stuff. Not IMDb. It's on other things as the new Avengers.
How cool, just jumping back briefly as well, how cool is it when she, Valentina, is in the old Stark Tower, which again was for the Avengers.
Well, that's where they're in at the end as well. That's the
Yeah.
post-credit
No,
scene,
I meant, but when she's pouring the drink, it
Yeah.
reminded me of the first Avengers, which I thought was, and it looks like it's done point for point, when Tony Stark says, "We're the Avengers," and he starts pouring a drink in the exact same way she does, and he's talking to Loki about, he's like, "Yeah, but you see, we're a
Never
different
noticed
kind of,
that.
we're a different kind of team. We're called the Avengers. It's this little thing, and we have something called a Hulk." And then that's when. But if you watch it again, I don't know if anyone's mentioned that yet, but she pours the champagne the way he pours the whiskey. It feels like it's the exact same spot. Actually, for fun, I will find the original bit and see if I can find a clip or see if someone's matched that, because that is cool. That is so cool. Yeah, man.
So I think we're both in agreement then. So how many whales are you giving this film?
7 out of 5. 5. 100% 5.
Yeah, I'm on full five for
five,
that as well. It hit all the right notes, and opposite to what James thinks. James thinks if it's 5, it's the best film ever, or that nothing could beat it. But I'm. It's in the context of Marvel. This is a 5.
Oh yeah. But also, like you're saying, I think to give it more depth than a superhero movie. It almost had elements of The Dark Knight, if I'm honest, because you know how dark that goes in places, and how the Joker affects so many characters based on the trauma and the darkness. It has that kind of. Mate, I can't stop thinking about it. Like, I really want to go see it again. And
I just don't think it could have been better. But I have read that there was lots of different initial points that weren't in it, and they changed a few things, and it doesn't sound as good. Like, it felt like it was an average film that got tweaked, or they put more into the emotional side, or the rather than the action side. But again, I don't even know how much we mentioned. I can't remember what we've said, but just to reiterate, there's very few CGI. There was a lot of practical effects, and that makes a difference. Like I said before, Endgame, yeah, it's cool, but it's CGI characters killing CGI characters. There's no stake. It's just fun watching things happen.
Yeah.
There was stake here.
Yeah,
someone could die. Yelena did, technically, sort of. And,
in a way, yeah.
And it was believable that she was gone. I thought that's the end of her and the whole Marvel.
Yeah, it was very clever reveals. Yeah.
And because it was so quick and shocking, that's what made it feel like, oh, it is real. It's like the jump at the beginning. It was so quick that it wasn't, because it wasn't laboured on. I'd like to have seen it more laboured on, but the fact it was so quick and nonchalant, her falling off the thing, it kind of makes more sense. The way they did it was correct.
Well, yeah, it was. But it was almost more powerful because it's like the way she dropped off. That's why it was like, I wondered if she just accepted her fate. Like, there is no winning.
But more storytelling, more film-wise, I mean, in the sense that if it's a film where something bad's going to happen, like the bad guy's doing something, there's so much exposition about, well, Mr. Bond, I'm going to kill you now, but before I'm going to explain why I'm killing you, and then what I'm about to do to the world, and then I'll push you and, kick you in the throat. Just kill him. Whereas
it gives me enough time to escape, actually, because I've got this special watch.
But Yelena, doesn't give us time to see what she's doing. She's standing on that building, and within 20 seconds, she's gone, not sure if I'm for this world. What? I thought she was going to explain we're going to get a precursor, a synopsis or something, an explanation, and then it would be a big build-up, like a Mission Impossible. Here's the big jump off the thing. And she's like, la, 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 la. What?
Yeah.
And I think that impact, although I'd like to have seen more of it, I think they made the right decision.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, but also that again is a plant and payoff, because the way that she steps off the building is the same way she steps into the darkness.
Yeah, that just step and whoop. Yeah, because when she steps into that darkness, you think she's getting close to it. She's going to back away. She's going to back away.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Shock.
Yeah.
So yeah, they did well.
Yeah. Well, do you want me to do this poem?
100%. We have another poem by Tales of the Nook. That shouldn't confuse you. If it does, Drew is Tales of the Nook. Go to Instagram, follow Tales of the Nook. Nook.
Why? Thank you. Well, the funny thing about this is literally Kev sent me a text message as per saying, and I was on the beach of Brighton. I got this text message saying, could you write a poem for Thunderbolts or kind of based on the experience of Thunderbolts? And I love Kev's challenges. So I put something together. And this is based on the Thunderbolts movie or kind of aspects of it. And this one is called Hidden Rooms. The darkness scratching at the walls of my subconscious like angry neighbors. Through thin walls I find thoughts that leave hopefulness blind. The daily grind entwined in a job role where you're defined. Paychecks to climb, careers like Apex, replaceable roles like who's next. Speechless conversations as we miss vital text. A world that leaves one's mind perplexed. A lifeline redesigned by architects. Demons of one's own mind. Cross lines where they dangle necks. City blinds. Souls replaced by shadows in the blink of an eye. Misery loves company. Trapped in a mosaic mind interwoven with memories that left wounds buried deep inside. The dark outline of ourselves that hides in the shadowlands. Tales we wish to bury from these dirty hands. But other souls lack the patience to understand. Fragments of pain. Like a museum of memories, just one touch and I'll take you back to your shame. A place with no name, a guilt that stains. Heavy thoughts stacked like pregnant clouds give birth to rain. Storms that came, black fingers that claw their way through a city. A dystopian look through a damaged frame. Come together to end this fear, a team of misfits, no superheroes, just friends that are near. Love and kindness diminishes darkness, just to be clear. Thunderbolts of lightning, glimmers of hope through storms, strength in numbers from the isolation that hoards so many living souls. Hope is the light when all feels lost, escaping those hidden rooms, born from chaos.
Yeah, boy. Also, you have inadvertently, because I'm not sure it's deliberate, but it might have been, you said Thunderbolts of Lightning.
Yeah, very, very frightening.
Frightening. And in the film, they do a copy of the Queen poster for Bohemian Rhapsody.
No ways.
Yeah, the end sequence when it's got them on posters and the Time cover and Rolling Stone covers and stuff like that.
Oh, dude, that's sick.
It's a black and white picture, the four of them, like Queen for Bohemian Rhapsody. And
well, yeah, I meant to do that.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
I meant to do that.
Very good, very good. Well, thank you very much for listening. I think we could have talked about it for longer, but
yeah. Well, that's one of our longest spoilers.
Yeah, I think so. And yeah, thanks for listening. We've put this out early as a bonus because we couldn't not discuss it. It was too big of a film.
Yeah, we couldn't miss out on the Thunderbolts conversation, man, for sure.
Yeah. Cool. Well, join us next week. We've got on Monday we've got a good episode where Drew, who previously was on the Meaning of Men podcast as a guest, we get on the Meaning of Men podcast hosts, Simeon,
Ian
to
Atkins.
join us coming on Monday.
We're now becoming like the Marvel Universe with different intertwining podcasts, and yeah, it's exciting.
I'm really having to pay attention to when things are going out so I can mention the right things.
Yeah, for the continuity, I'm with you.
Yeah, because we're going to record 2 next week, which won't come out for a month because we're going to do 2 more at the end of the month that are going to come out before the ones that are coming out that we're recording next week.
Wow. And now the viewers and listeners are privy to that information.
Yeah, that's how podcasts work, man.
Now we're always transparent. We're transparent with you guys. So
if you go look at Off Menu, they record like 5 in a week and then do nothing for 5 months.
There you go.
Not 5 months, but they just do a bunch in a few days.
And guys, as well, you may have noticed there's little Rage Whale merchandise as well from what's the amazing place?
Ragewhale.tmill, TEEMILL.com.
See, like the t-shirts.
But we haven't launched it properly yet, so there's your little sneak peek and reward for sticking to the very end of this one.
There you go. This is our end credits.
Yeah, end credits. Yeah, we're launching it in 3 weeks' time.
There you go.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
This has been Rage Whale. Thanks for hanging out with us. We hope you had a whale of a time. Oh, wait! Before you go and enjoy the rest of your day, we would really appreciate if you had a spare 5 seconds, a follow and a 5-star rating. Also, don't forget to follow us on our socials on Instagram and TikTok, where we have updates, movie-related content, and funny clips from the show. Please tell all your friends. Thanks for hanging out with us till the very end. Have a great rest of your day.